Delmar, second or third, get your money back. Forest Field in the first race. So I think you have a pretty good chance if you don't bet the winner getting your money back. And cross country pick 5, 2 at Monmouth, 3 here, a stake at Monmouth, and of course 3 New York bred stakes here as well. And we are on from 1 to 3 in FS2, 3 to 4 in FS1, and 4 to 7 on FS2.
I think that's the first. This is the first Sunday where that slate's been correct. Well, I've been here.
It's an incredible moment. Are you on with me
I'm
early
honored.
or late?
Late. Early.
Excellent.
It's my honor. Not well.
I will say, and I don't like to compliment Maggie in front of her, but just one quick thing. You were on door knock. You were suggesting how you didn't think Luis Saez had really warmed him up that strongly, and the fact that he didn't show the speed as somebody's expected us was
and it was a
a
slow
major
pace.
factor. Yeah, in the race, and you were on that, so that that call should not go unnoticed. We all make calls, many of them wrong, some of them right. That was a
myself included.
particularly good call by you, and I just wanted to compliment you on that. Race number 1 changed dramatically when the one Bellicose came out, because right now this horse accelerating just becomes.
Were you with Bellicose or?
I was actually going to pick Carmen's Candy Jar, thinking that there might be a little more speed.
That's why I saw it too.
No, I would have taken Accelerate over that one.
Yes, 100%. They're going to the spinaway with her. I think that's a Resolute Racing buying into her type of deal.
I think that's your second good call that was discussed on the show today, Mag. Keep them coming. This horse ran really well. And second horse,
I really like her.
Yeah, highly regarded OXL horse that did cost herself a problem getting left. The rail was very good that day, but this was a very quick pace.
Yeah.
And I'm just not trying to beat her on what should be a merry chase now.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, if Bellicose was in here, it could have set it up for Carmen's Candy Jar, who does exit, the Schuylerville, and she was totally outrun early. She is a horse that, hints at probably wanting to go a little bit further, so not having that option, at least as of now, considering she won her debut. But if there is some hitting, let's say that the Parks Invader, Essential to Success, presses a little bit, maybe she's right there. Hopefully she's not as outpaced as she was going back to
That's what worried me. I liked her first race, but it was her second race where I would agree completely. She just got so badly outrun in there, and while she was running at the end when the race was over, because the pace was fast, it bothered me that she got as badly outpaced as she did, but I do think she is the other horse given the scratches in here. Race number 2. A lot of guessing, obviously, to go on here. We're in a similar vicinity. Talk about Doomed. That's a tough name for a horse, Doomed.
Yeah, I didn't actually think about that. Wow. It is a tough horse. Poor guy's even a gelding, too. He was doomed.
Yeah, he was doomed. Maybe that's why they gave him Doomed.
Look, there actually is an abundance of turf to go on here, but I really liked what I saw from the turf workout. Back.
Well, the second dam was a European thing.
And Volatile, Volatile is a Violence. And I've always thought that Violence progeny were pretty good turf sprinting. So, and two, he's a pretty potent sire when it comes to winning first time, at least with this freshman crop that he has. So I took Doom just mainly on the basis of that workout. I really liked what I saw from that horse, the way he was moving that day. So I just thought I'd get a little bit of a price. Look, the horse you went to was Swift Magic. Makes a good bit of sense. And he was one that it was really green in the paddock and looked really heavy. So definitely needed that first start.
Can George Weaver sort of turn what's been a frustrating meet around with a couple winners the last meet?
I hope
I'm
so.
wondering that. They're sort of determined to get him on the turf. I'm going to be honest, Maggie, I didn't have a lot of ideas. There really isn't that much pedigree for turf in this race. And I think with your horse, it's kind of in TT we trust, right?
Well,
he's good with these
horses. That was the other point. Exactly. And with Jeremiah's horse, who's 5-2 in the morning line and experience, they paid $165,000 for this son of a freshman sire in Instagram. Instagrand worked 10-2, good mover, but and there's a little bit of turf if you go back a generation. The second dam multiple graded stakes placed on the turf, but I didn't like the workout reports. Just don't sound that promising with this horse.
I just figured with IRAD, the horse would be a short price.
Exactly.
And maybe she should be, and she probably is more pedigree than just about anybody here. But I decided to go elsewhere. Mike Maker doesn't have particularly great numbers with firsters, but calling card is a half to a couple of turf winners out of 2 to try it. Nothing special. They were sort of fair. Did you have a negative on this horse? You
Nope.
probably weren't watching the workouts at Turfway Park.
There's that.
Didn't fly out for them.
Yeah,
Been a little busy.
It's a little tough. It's a little tough to get a gauge on some of these Maker horses. Some, run holes in the wind, smile and say cheese. The other horse that scratched today that I was really interested in, Under the Radar, whatever it is.
I'm sucking up to my friend Kirk Wyckoff.
And then you have one that was eased yesterday. It's in this one especially. It was such a guess with the works being out of town.
Did you think at all about throwing the 10 Brimsley in there,
Yes,
who does have some turf pedigree?
All 3 foals have won first time out.
Yeah, I thought that horse. Maybe
It's
I should put that
just
horse fourth or
connection.
something. I know.
Right? I'd put him in as my 5th pick, but
I'll root
yeah.
for the McMahons on New York Bred Day. I root for the McMahons
Yeah.
anyway.
Tony's horse has pedigree, but on the bottom,
More
it's more
therapy.
dirt. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I know it's a more than ready, but for a dam, but it's all dirt. It's just like no success in the turf at all, but there is enough turf influence.
And
you
just
won't be
watching
surprised.
the breezes, they're decent times, but it's hard ridden for those 48s every time.
And Tony's having a good meet. He's had 2 horses finish first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was justifiably DQ'd, but I still think the horse he ran was best. I mean, I don't think it was a bad DQ.
Yeah.
But he was read best, and he had that win in the maiden race the other day, and his horses have been mostly hitting the board.
Yep.
See what happens in there. Race number 3. I want to start with Dr. Kraft, who
I left off.
I can't put him on top.
He just doesn't win, Andy. He's
I know,
second or
he
third.
doesn't win.
He rode the gold rail last time.
Right, he lost the race because
Because he drifted
Irad got
slightly
overly
off of it.
concerned with the guy outside of him, and I think after the race he said to himself, "What an idiot! I should have just stayed on the rail." I guarantee he thought, "You know what?
he
If
looks
I had
over
just
right
stayed
there,
inside, right?"
and again,
This ride
and
by
then,
Dylan
whoops,
was
Dilly
yeah,
dee.
too late. Irad, he's in there, but I agree, and. Also, to your point, he rode the rail for 90% of the race, so it's not as though he was compromised. He lost because he came off the rail, but he benefited so much. So while I'm sure Irad second-guessed himself, he did an awful lot of good things to get there in the first place, and knowing Irad, he just got frustrated. What do you do with Bourbon Chase in here? I've got him 4th, you've got him 3rd, because, speaking of this one, I'm not sucking up to my friend Kirk Wyckoff. I know he got good last year, and let's be honest. If he runs these races, he's probably going to win this race. Where did this improvement come from, and are we going to see it again off the layoff, switching to Mike?
Those last 3 efforts were just.
Like a different
I don't want
horse.
to say an aberration because he
Ran
backed him up, each and every time of that sequence. But I agree with you. Now he's been off for over 6 months, looking up trainer changes on the dirt. It was too small of a sample to throw in that 6-month plus type of layoff, but he's only 13 for 101 with a negative ROI.
He's 14 for 67, 4 to 8 months on trainer switches. No, with trainer switches, he's 3 for 15.
On the dirt?
Yeah.
Okay.
With 4 to 8 months.
All right.
Listen, I'm not going to be surprised if he wins. We went in slightly different directions here because I had Doug Kraft second. You've got Elysian Meadows. Does it worry you at all that he's coming back on 10 days?
Yes. But then again, it's Bill, and I feel like Bill.
He's improved. He might like the cutback. He might just be the right horse.
I didn't. This race annoyed me because there were logical horses if you look just on their bodies of work, but you could poke holes in those good races with a lot of them. And Barise, I know he's coming off a terrible effort, but he was so against the track.
Right.
That same
he was against the track last
time.
time. The time before that, he was in May off a layoff, going a mile and an eighth, and he had some trouble in there. So I kind of, you know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping Manny tries to blast off
because
from the
there's
rail.
not much speed.
I mean, the 5 and 6 pace director has the 5 and 6 speed, but it's not that much speed, and I think he could be aggressive. So I want to take a little shot with him because he's not 7-2. The entry was 7-2. David would have made Barisi a much larger price on his own. You know what's funny with Elysian Meadows? I hope they don't get completely snake bit, and we may win this race, and not run him on the grass again because he's been extremely unlucky. He got taken out of the race by Carson's run in his first grass race.
Yep, and then it was a bog.
Poured during the race. And I mean, you watch that race, not a single horse changed position like at any point during the running in the rain. So that race is meaningless. And you do want to see him get a chance to run at least.
I know.
I mean, at least run a turf race and suck and then move on.
I agree with you. Like, he deserves a chance. I will say this: he doesn't really look like a turf horse, though.
Okay. He's a player in here. This is an interesting race. I'm just going to try to wire him with Barisi.
No love for Silver Satin? Just doesn't look fast enough?
You know, it's funny. I was talking to David Argona, and I forgot to ask. I meant to ask him why he really liked this horse. I thought I didn't like his last race at all, Maggie.
Ricardo saved every inch of ground. And on the hill came back with a more troubled trip in this particular race and did not run well.
Yeah, I have to call David and ask him why he likes this.
I just like him as a horse, but I agree it's tough to take him on.
I've been disappointed in him of his last effort. I expected him to run better last time, and I'm not sure he even ran better. I just think he happened to win.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens in there. The West Point. I like somebody in the West Point.
So does everybody else.
Yeah, I like this horse, Spirit of St. Louis. We'll take a look at him winning.
Who's he?
I think he looks pretty good in here. What do you think?
Yeah,
8 for 10, 2 seconds, wins in the dirt, wins in the turf. I don't know. He's just too good for these.
He makes his own races.
Yep.
He is not dependent on pace whatsoever. If it's slow, he can be up front, and he still has this kick.
I'm with you, Mag. I'm not trying to beat him at all.
He's just good. What? And it's probably because Chad Brown just has so many horses that fit these type of conditions. But and why not just keep winning?
Why not run him in open stakes?
Yeah,
because these are good pots and he's a short price. I will say one thing. I do want to, because I love this effort. I want to go back to 2022 and watch City Man. And I'll tell you what, if City Man runs this race, he'll beat Spirit of St. Louis.
The Forbidden Apple?
It's one of the great races.
Yeah.
I will never forgive Christophe for not running him back in the 4-star Dave. Because then he got rained off and everything. I will never forgive you for this, Christophe. And I will say, at least he's second off a layoff. He didn't run well last time. And he's 7.
Needed it.
Yeah, he's 7. Maybe he doesn't have it anymore. And even if he does, maybe he still can't beat Spirit of St. Louis. But he ran very well against him in the Mohawk. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he should just be ignored because St. Louis is good. Because St. Louis, this is a good horse. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I thought he had a chance to be the upsetter.
Yeah, I thought Dakota Gold actually ran well, in the context
the hot
of
barn
this
angle
race.
on this one?
Yeah.
Well, the barn's struggling. I mean, they have run second and third with one horse each. And actually, they had another one. They ran second, and they ran a couple seconds. They ran second, that 2-year-old.
The 2-year-old maid.
That horse ran well. Yeah, that race got an 85, all 3 of them.
That horse was good.
Yeah, he did run really well.
But, yeah, no, I just thought Dakota Gold ran pretty well because Spirit of St. Louis and it's all coming together were up front, and he was way out the back.
That's fair. See what happens. Cherry the Nipper, I'm afraid, as much as I loved him, he just doesn't seem to be the same, and I'm a big fan.
How about the next race? Are you trying to beat Panda Gate?
I thought about it. We'll go to race 5. I thought about it, and I'll tell you one thing about race number 5, if we can go to race 5. Well, there's the New York Derby. I will say with Skylar Starship, Liberty Central has a little bit of a better chance, but isn't Doc Sullivan going to be stalking him anyway and beat him? And does the scratch
I'm not
in a way...
sure that Doc Sullivan just doesn't go. He has to. I mean, from the outside, he has to go.
Right.
He has to.
And doesn't the scratch of the 2 hurt Pandagate and help Doc Sullivan a little bit?
Yeah,
it was only 3/4 of length. I think we all sort of feel Pandagate could improve second off the layoff. And Pandagate's a very good horse, but I don't think the margin is significant between the 4 and 6.
Yeah,
race 5, guys.
I just think that Doc Sullivan probably just doesn't want to quite go this far.
That's fair. I agree. Well, as I say another way, too. Pandagate rates to get better at a 1 1/8 than Doc Sullivan is going to get at a 1 1/8.
Exactly.
He probably could win a race a 1 1/8 in the right circumstances, but against Pandagate, he's ceding a bigger advantage.
Chances,
I agree. And I'd like to have more to say about it, but I don't.
No, I do agree that Liberty Central is a little bit intriguing here because I thought he looked fantastic.
He had no chance last time. The rail got good early.
Right. Boss Tweed, Fastbuck Freddie, glued to it, 1-2 around there. And he was 3 wide pretty much the entire way, Liberty Central. And he's always a horse that hinted at wanting more ground. Again, I don't know if he wants to quite go 2 turns, but at least he's got a good jumping off point having the 6.5 race under his belt.
And I'd like to see them pop the gate, but I'll tell you something. I don't believe the pace projector because I don't think Manny's going to rate New York Derby. Rate Aguilos the Great again. From the rail, I think Manny's going to go. I mean, he's not going to beat these horses sitting back. His best chance is to try to wire the field, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see if he wants a mile and an eighth anyway. We'll break after 5. We'll come back to pick 6.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
We're back. Maggie and Andy, thank you to Saratoga Springwater for their continued support of our show. We appreciate it a great deal, and we love Saratoga Springwater. And it's a little premature, but happy birthday to Maggie. And my birthday present to Maggie is I'm not going to sing happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And everybody around here.
Yes,
it's all your presents for the year. Tomorrow's Maggie's birthday, but happy birthday.
It's so funny. You and I have the birthdays around the biggest days in New York racing.
Yes,
You're a Belmont, and I'm in Travelers.
We all have birthdays on our. My favorite one was my 60th, and you guys, everybody was great. They came and sang happy birthday to me. It was on Belmont Stakes Day. And earlier in the year, I was sitting with Dave O'Rourke and Tony Alavato, and I said, oh, my 60th is on Belmont Day. And Dave said, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to take the day off and hang out with Seth and just enjoy myself. And Dave said, yeah, that's a great idea. And Tony went, yeah, that's not happening. And I knew it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Right, I was joking, but
Dave was trying to give you
Dave
the
was pretending to be benevolent, I think.
Yeah.
He knew.
Right.
Anyway, race number 6, but happy birthday, Mag. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. We'll take a look at
appreciate
Tehila. And I've got her second because I do wonder just how good this race was with Kara's Kara's Dreamweaver. Not coming back and running very well. But I will say one thing about this horse. She was really green.
She was. She broke okay, and then she wanted to run off in between.
Right.
So as I always say, I feel like that wastes a horse's energy more than going a little too fast. But there wasn't anything that Manny could do this day. And then when she tipped out, she ran on, but she got a little late. Like you said, she just looked as though she needed. I will say too, she's a bigger filly. So I always feel like those types of horses probably need the starts as well. So I took her on top. I flirted with honestly putting Tom's horse on top, who draws in
She's
here.
got a lot of pedigree, and I actually thought about moving her in. I just didn't. Go
She's
ahead.
been working very well.
Has she? That's Kyla's Cause on the outside. Well, I mean, the Dam's a major turf horse, a 94 buyer.
Yeah.
Ran very well.
The siblings haven't been much.
Siblings have
though.
been bad.
Right.
And I don't, Daredevils are more than ready, but.
Yeah, no, he actually has good stats with his turf sprinters, not necessarily going longer. But again, he's not a real precocious sire either. But yes, she has been working very well down at Belmont in preparations for this. And then
there's the half. There's Casa Creed, $725,000 half. Charlotte's Heart. But I'm going to tell you something, Maggie. I'm going to put a hold on betting authentics until I see them start doing more running. That was my problem with this horse.
I totally agree.
That
with
was
you.
why.
And I know, yes, on the bottom side it is turf and a little bit shorter, but almost every trainer I've talked to has also been disappointed with their authentics, and hinting at the fact that maybe they just want to go a bit further.
Right.
I don't know. I will say this: has been working with Tis Her Money, who debuted going a mile and a 16th on the Turf Open Company and was a meh 5th.
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to take a wait and see. I love the pedigree, but I pick Grace and Grit.
I
love the 2-year-old
finally
sales.
gets in with her.
Right. We'll show the sale. Oh, no. Are we going to show it? Yeah, it's the second one. Do you want to show the other one first, guys? Okay, this is Grace
this
Grip.
is
I thought
Grace
this was
Grip.
a very impressive. I really thought she
Absolutely.
did this on her own, and John Kimmel's been insistent on getting her on the turf.
Which I just have been baffled by.
I've been
I said
too.
it to you last week when she had to scratch.
Yeah.
Because
I
the
was sure she'd
pedigree
stay in.
is all dirt. And I know she works well there on synthetic, which oftentimes mirrors the turf.
She's worked a lot
and
on the
she's
turf.
worked a lot on the turf, and she has been working well, albeit with Nano Man. But he is a winner at least, and she's been working all over.
Nano Man, don't forget, Nano Man actually ran really well last time, improved
Absolutely.
dramatically to break the maiden.
Oh yeah,
So,
no,
that
and I
was
mean
last time or two
he
back,
was
but-
preparing with her to do such.
Right.
So I just couldn't get over the fact that it's such a dirt pedigree, and he's been so insistent on the turf. And I get it; she moves well and works well over the turf, but why not at least give her a try? Because too, watching that, it's not like she has overly turfy action.
I'm a little perplexed. I want to better see how she runs in here. I wanted to put Bam Bliss Kiss. Frank didn't have enough tough day left yesterday with 14 races.
Bam's
You got to
Bliss
throw
Kiss.
this horse at him.
Wowzers.
I mean,
This was like
a
an old pocket rocket.
This horse, yeah,
Tiny. He's tiny. Excuse me.
she's fast.
But look at her.
I know. She's like blazing out
Yeah,
there.
9 and 4.
Doesn't have a ton of turf pedigree,
No.
which is worth mentioning. What about Perugia? Is Linda just prepping this half to Amundsen by Sire Frosted on the turf, or is it just weird that this horse is in here?
I agree.
Maybe it's just a prep turf first time to get to dirt second time.
That's what I thought, because she, according to the Derek Cocker report, has been working with the Angels.
By the way, was that the horse won the other day? What price did that horse get? Right, what buyer that is with the Angels?
Why are you asking me that? That's your
I forgot to
department.
look it up. The Chad Brown horse got a 94 that won on Friday.
Okay.
The maiden race yesterday
I
got an
thought
85.
she could have gotten an 80.
She was. I mean, she crushed the field. Obviously,
Yeah.
it wasn't a great field. She was very impressive.
She really was. She hasn't been as precocious, Perugia, as with the Angels, but still kept pace with her at least. But I agree with you that this doesn't quite make sense.
Okay, we'll
based
move on to race
pedigree.
7, and I have a question for you about race number 7.
Sure.
How the hell did it take them 3 years to run Chasing Daylight on the turf? You do notice she gets in. Did you look up her pedigree?
Oh, shoot. Oh, my gosh, no.
Chasing
Andy, I'm not
Daylight
going to lie. I am
has an
exposed
unraced dam
here.
who's produced 2 horses to run on the turf.
I
They both won with figures in the
completely
70s.
missed her.
The second dam got a 90 buyer on the turf and won 4 of 16 horses. Chasing Daylight hasn't exactly been setting the world on fire in her career. How did it take this long to get this horse? TT had this horse originally to get this horse to the turf. It's crazy, right?
Especially with TT, who is
Yeah,
more inclined to run.
Now, I
horses
didn't
on
go
turf.
back and look to see if he had entered early in the career. You
I
have
didn't
all-
either.
Are there any off the turfs? You
Let
have the
me
whole
see.
PPs? Are there any? Because it's just weird. Now, I'm not saying I really like her. She injects some speed in the race.
Sure.
The 9 coming out takes some speed out of the race. There's also speeds in here with the 3, 4, and 5. It's just a little bit strange that it took this long to get her on the turf. 82 buyer for With the Angels. Thank you.
Well done.
Teresa texting me.
I'm not going to lie. I missed it a little bit.
I had looked the pedigree up just
Sorry.
because I'm insane and I have
Yeah.
issues. But I just think it's really funny that this horse, I mean, she does have a pedigree.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sorry,
Rajiv
Mike.
will like her. Is Romero still riding her?
I think so. Right? He's not on anybody else.
No.
Yeah.
Rajiv will love her today. This could be Rajiv's major pick. He has had a lot of good picks, actually, to be fair, much as it pains me to say it. Okay, I have a theory in this race.
All right, go ahead.
My
'cause
theory in this
computer's not
race
working.
is that Busy Morning, I don't know how good she is, but I do want to show the race that she comes out of ran 6, and I think the chart
I
callers kind of
agree with
missed
you.
it. To me, Irad had absolutely nowhere to go the whole stretch. I don't know how much horse he had,
Because
but he is blocked at every
He's
turn.
blocked here, right?
Yep.
And then
Tries
he
to
thinks
get out.
he thinks that right there,
And he
he thinks
stops.
the 10's going to come over,
Yep.
and he does. She does, and then she comes back in. She's lugging in the 10. So I agree. He had to eat it.
He did,
Totally
yeah.
had to eat
So
it.
I don't-
just hate this post.
Well, wait a second. You hate the post. You took a horse with one post
I know,
inside of her,
I know,
so
I know.
you don't hate it that much.
I know.
I tell you one thing with your horse, she better get some pace to run into. Do you?
Well, that's the thing, is that the post with her, it doesn't quite matter as much because she's going to drop out the back.
I agree. That's fair. What did you think of her first turf race?
I thought it was okay because Can't Fool Me has run very well since.
I thought Junior went at the 8th pole or 3/16th pole. Oh, I have horse.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I thought.
And she quickened pretty nicely.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
So, yeah.
She dramatically improved in the turf. Now, she is the gallop out horse of gallop out horses, if people remember from her debut here. And we joked about it on Twitter a lot, and I think she's better than that 39 buyer she got that day. But
yeah.
I know, she's dangerous. I agree. I agree. What about Roagna? Is she ever going to run well? She has not gotten good trips into races, but I'm beginning to think that her debut was just an aberrant race.
I agree. I couldn't warm up to her here. I thought look, Lakeside Getaway scratching killed. She was my top pick.
Oh, okay.
So I scratched into.
No, I think your horse is very live.
The 12 here. And then. Sorry, go ahead.
Island Fox. Let's just show a race. Is it possible Island Fox is going to be another Clermont horse that moves up off a maiden win and just wins here?
I mean,
I know she got a good trip last time, but I'm not sure she's not okay.
I looked up the numbers for Christoph in doing this, and they were just okay. I think he's like around 17%.
He's 70% with a positive ROI off maiden wins the turf routes.
So
lately, they seem to be all improving.
Yeah. No, right. You think
I did tell him
Better
Farbridge
Be
was going to
Lucky
win
Than Good.
Thursday night.
You did.
You laughed
well
at me.
done. Really well done with that horse. And I
didn't expect him to win the front end, to be fair.
I think the best Joelle ride we've seen all season.
Joelle might be the best front end rider there is. When Joelle goes to the front, he's
I agree.
Unbeatable.
I agree.
That was a very satisfying, and I was happy for them because he's a very good horse that's incredibly frustrating, and it's his own fault. I mean, Farbridge is his own worst enemy. But
his last race at Monmouth was a complete joke.
No chance. He has had trips, and you know Jose tried to do the right thing in the Manhattan, and he eventually sort of got towards the inside, but through no fault of his own because the post he was outpositioned all the way, and he finally
finally gets a short field.
Yeah, that was fun.
No, I'm not going to be surprised when Island Fox jumps up and runs well here.
Yeah, I'm scared of her.
Summer Whirl comes back and wins. I mean, with the 72, so it was a dramatic improvement or anything, but still respectable.
A lot of horses with a lot of chances. No, Midnight Concerto doesn't fall in that category. I agree. She's dangerous. I'll be interested to see.
Yeah.
She does need some pace. We'll see what happens.
It was a race where you couldn't really get too excited about anyone, though.
So the Fleet Indian, I'm guessing that and by the way, on the same note, they ran my main squeeze down at Charlestown, and she ran second. Mm-hmm. A big tip of the cap to the Bookham Dano people. You know, I saw a lot of them yesterday, and have a couple emails to respond to. But you know, they came here and they took the much tougher route to run here for the same money with a gelding that's not enhanced by it. He ran a great third, and these are guys who are having a great time with their horse. And in doing so, you know, I mean, so much and fairly and correctly so was made of Kenny McPeak and the connections of Torpedo Anna that they would put her in the Travers, and with absolutely it dwarfs it because of a bigger race. But also the Bookham Dana people, they didn't have to come here. They could have gone for the money, and they didn't.
Exactly. And it was such a big field, too.
Yeah,
it's not
like toughest race of the year.
It was the toughest race of the year for those 3-year-old sprinters.
Yeah.
So I have
And I wouldn't have blamed them one bit if they hadn't gone down
horse.
to Charlestown. I wouldn't have blamed them one bit.
No.
I would have gone there if it was my horse. I would have.
Because what was that, $500,000?
Yeah, I would have taken the money and run.
Right.
I would run the Alabama. But then again, if I run the Alabama, I wouldn't have got to see what she did yesterday. And boy, was she good yesterday.
So good.
Taking nothing away from fierceness, but she was great. I mean, she is
getting
really
there with every stride, too.
And Brian gave her a great ride. I heard some people criticize him. You got to be kidding me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought he gave her just a sensational ride. Anyway, Landed. I'm not betting against Land. I know she's got to get a mile and an eighth, but I'll tell you something, Maggie. I think she's pretty darn good.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think she was with the racetrack last time, whereas that wasn't the case for Caldwell Love's Gold.
I bet. And I'm still a little bitter. Here's the problem. Isn't she controlling speed again today? And with my main squeeze out, isn't it get a little easier?
Well,
who's going to run with her?
Sweet Brown Sugar?
Going to run with her? I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, Dolomite's not that slow either, coming out of a 6-furlong race.
You know,
I think Dolomite's handier now as an older horse.
Here's Dolomite. Let's take a look at him. I've got her. I've got her second. She did win just because she's good last time, because that's just too short for her. And they rushed her into the race to get there. I'm interested. I thought about going 4-2. I went 2-4. I'm not against Dolomite. I'll be surprised if one of them doesn't win the race. I'm not sure Caldwell goes. I know she won a mile 16. I'm still not convinced against these horses she's really a mile and an eighth horse. You are more than me?
I understand. But she deserves a chance. She won going the 2 turns at Finger Lakes. I know, against a suspect field. It gets a lot tougher here with Dolomite and Landed. But the 9 furlong race, she had absolutely no shot whatsoever in the Demoiselle. Not only was it tough.
Oh, she was completely
eliminated.
Yeah, she had a preposterous trip. That's fair.
I want to give her a shot.
And Dolomite had a good trip that day.
Against her people, if you will. And because I still respect her. And I think, and I get what you're saying, because a lot of times horses like this, they appreciate a little pace up front and trying to do it, and that closing kick gets mitigated with more ground. But she at least is built like a horse that can handle it.
Can she overcome Flo the Jock?
I know, and Manny does go to Dolomite, which I get.
I'm kidding.
What?
I'm kidding about Flo. He's my friend.
I am not going to antagonize Flo.
Why? I love to antagonize Flo. My favorite things in the world.
Twitter drama.
He's great on Twitter.
He is funny.
He's very funny on Twitter. We'll see what happens in the Fleet Indian, the 9th race, the funny side. Now, I was going to take a shot in this race with the horse you have
with
second.
The scratches.
You have second, and I'm still going to lose $20 on him.
I mean, I had the 2 who scratched on top.
But with the scratches in this race, we'll look at Moplex first. He's obviously helped by the scratches too. I'm going to say something about Moplex though. This was not, and I'm not trying to knock him, but this wasn't the world's best Sanford. And why are we sure he's better than Smile and Say Cheese, who I think is going to be in front of him in this race? And he's going to be so overbet with IRAD. He won a grade stakes against Open Company.
And it also begs the question of why haven't they continued down the...
because he'd get his butt kicked in the hopeful. They're smart to be running here for $200,000. This is the right move. And Jeremiah's, he's a little bit of an idiot, but he's not that stupid. He's watching, so I can't be nice to him. No, this is the right move. First of all, they're going to be 8-5 in here, maybe 6-5 with the scratches. And I wonder if Smile and Say Cheese, I know it was a wet track. This horse ran last time, Maggie.
No, he did, because he actually got passed, too.
Yep.
I
kind of lost track of him. I kind of lost sight of him. I thought he was...
because he kind of wanted to get out a little bit, and then once Luis Saez got him straight again, he really kicked on. Now, it is a wet track that we're dealing with on this particular day, and not the case today. So that... And I don't know. I just don't know how to interpret this horse. Because he was green, but he won impressively.
I just don't want to bet the favorite.
I get you.
And he, I think, with the scratches, becomes the likeliest winner. I'm not a fan of In the Chase. I think this is a much tougher group.
I think Soon to Be King deserves another chance here.
Well, I was going to pick him on top. He was my original top choice.
If there was more speed.
It's just because the speed scratched out that I went away from, because he lost all chance the start of the Sanford.
Absolutely. And I don't think he's that slow either. I think that race, because of what he got slammed into and had to steady back, therefore put him further back than what he can naturally be.
He's also feels like a work in progress that's going to get better. And maybe today is the day to bet him to get better. Maybe I should have left him on top because he's a big price.
I can see that.
With this, the thing is, if this race had set up like this, I wouldn't have picked him on top. I was more taking him because I thought they would be really moving up front. And when the scratches came in, I thought, I can't take him for the same reason, because I wouldn't have taken him then just because he's a big price. But with you, I think he'll run better.
I think those are the 3.
So race number 10. We're going to find out if Silver Skillet is just, she's like a new horse, right? She's burying fields in the dirt. I know there's a speed track, but she's never showed a race like that.
She's a wet track as well.
I know that she just ran away from the field here, but why am I supposed to assume that she's not going to beat these horses again, Mag?
You picked her, right?
Yeah. No, I'm saying
why. Exactly. I don't say, and it's not like she's a need the lead type. She's just been better in those races. They've been short fields, so she's just been better, and so she assumes the lead. But even if, you got, I thought there was maybe a horse, what do you do with the 2 horses? Well,
Moon Age Daydream should be going.
And Moon Age Daydream
should be going.
That she can also just sit right behind him.
You're waking up Marvelous Maud?
I don't know. I know.
She has been so bad.
I know.
I guess because
she was compromised last time with the pace scenario.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
There's a horse, I think Cherie's training it, a firster on Friday. The sire is Slumber, and the second dam, I think is it Birthday Time, is the dam of Fluffy Socks. The second dam So that's not a 3/4, is it? It's the same sire and the same second dam on Friday.
As
no,
who?
I'm just seeing Slumber as Fluffy Socks. I'm going off script here. Same second
3/4.
dam, same sire. No,
I don't
it's
know.
the sires.
Because usually if it's the grandsire and the sire, yeah.
Maybe they're not related
I don't
at
know
all.
how it does that.
I'm gonna have to
Well,
find
they're a little
that
bit
out. Somebody
related.
Tell me, Cherie, if you're watching. I'm not trying to be Silver Skillet with you, and I'm not trying to wake up Marvelous Maud because I never liked her that much anyway.
Yeah.
I was wrong about her a number of times. Was never a big fan. I think Spinning Colors is the wise guy horse in here.
Absolutely.
I mean,
because I didn't think she would.
last time.
I didn't think she'd win this race. I'll be honest, because she looked 80% fit
Win?
and got hot, and then she
crushed
just
them.
pulverized them. Can't fool me. Obviously in good form too. Coming back and winning. She's not pace compromised. No, I thought about going 5-1-9. I really did. I just sided with the horse that has a little bit more stakes experience.
Yeah, I think Spinning Colors is the up-and-coming horse. Let's talk about, Stonewall Star is a half to Citizen K, to be fair, and a couple of turf winners there. I'm not betting flatters in the turf,
they're
much as I love
sisters.
flatter.
There's sisters in here.
There
It's
are, right?
Stonewall
Oh, yeah,
Star and
Stonewall
What
Star.
Love Looks Like.
Well, they're half-sisters.
Half
Stonewall Star's an
sisters. Right.
English channel.
English channel.
By the way, Stonewall Star's not impossible in this race. She's got back races.
Yeah, but she's a flatter.
And
that's not good
No,
turf.
I'm saying Stonewall. What
What
Love
Love
looks like. Right.
has the go-back races. I wonder, is she a little better going further? I know she's won
When
it a
she
mile,
can control. Todd doesn't
Yeah.
have, well, she's English Channel, so she probably definitely is.
Yeah.
And Todd's layoff numbers with turf router's not great. Venti Valentine, has some turf pedigree.
but not as much as Stonewall Star.
No, because she's a firing line too. These are not screaming turf sires, right?
Correct.
Venti Valentine has a half to 2 turf winners, but they're both better dirt horses.
right.
She's also a half 2 landed.
Right.
There are a lot of family members running
espresso
today.
shot. Well, this is what happens on New York Day.
Right. All
Showcase
the
Day.
friends, as Harvey Pack would say.
Uh-huh.
They'll be running the second running the Harvey Pack here next weekend.
Uh-huh.
They go in the winner's paddock and they see their friends. Race number 11.
Or their family members.
So I'm going to withhold off on why Maggie's taken top of the table. We'll wait on this one.
Oh,
So
whoopsie.
what? You meant to put 12?
Yep.
Yeah. Make Maggie
I
12,
am
1, 2, 3.
so sorry, guys. That's
We'll
a
get to the 12
typo.
soon. The 12 is the interesting horse in here.
Yeah. So 12, 1,
So
2, 3.
we're going to show the 727 race, where a lot of them come out of. And here's
wrote
North
down.
End Lady. She sucked. She got a perfect trip last time. She ran unbelievably the time before it, though. If she runs back to her race on June 8th,
I did think
she cannot possibly
She
lose.
was ranked. She was ranked last time, and the blinkers come off now.
Okay. All right.
So I do agree with
But
you.
Capital Spending ran really well here. She was 3-4 wide the whole way around the track and came running again at the end. I thought she really ran well in here and much better than North End Lady. The 1 and 2 of the horses that have run, one of them has to win, I think. I'll be shocked if one of them doesn't
Thank
win
you guys
of the
for changing
horses
that. That's my
that
fault.
runs. Fat Finger Maggie on that one? Is that like the... It's like
I do have fat fingers, too.
we have those. Well, there's a word game I play with a friend of mine. It's occasionally when he screws it up, he'll say "fat finger mistake." He's a little bigger than we are. He's not fat; he's just a little bigger.
Yeah. Big bones.
Apparently,
Fine.
Sinead. No, he's tall. Sinead is working very well. I have heard.
Well, yeah, crushing Capital Spending and others in the
Probably
barn.
not going to be 10 to 1. Might be a good horse to try to use in multi-race bets.
The post, obviously,
Not
not
good.
ideal.
Not good.
But at Mendelssohn, there's just turf. I know that this is the dam's first full, but
Dam won
she was
twice.
2 for 6 on the turf. Yeah.
No, I'm using her.
Yep.
I'm very
And
scared of her. I've had enough of Autumn.
I've had enough of everyone in
She's
here.
just-
That's why I
right,
went with
agree.
Sinead.
I agree. So we have a few minutes. So let's talk Travers. So
Okay.
fierceness.
Yeah. I think I'm finally warming up to him. Even though he had those devastating wins, obviously in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, in the Florida Derby, I still didn't trust him. But now
for good
he's
reason,
gained
Maggie.
my respect.
Yeah. Well, first of all, every one of us has said numerous times that when things go his way, he's the best, fastest 3-year-old in the country. So I don't think any of us were ever knocking him. I think there's this perception of knocking him. It's just we didn't trust him.
Right.
And with good reason. His Derby was bad.
Yeah.
His race in the Holy Bull was bad. So I think, and the other thing about the Holy Bull is that maybe I was wrong about, okay, it was off a layoff. But Todd always has them ready off layoff, so that surprised me.
Johnny said to me in the post-race interview yesterday that he has found that taking a hold of this horse, getting it sitting against him at all, is out of question because he doesn't like it. He sulks, and he just wants you to let him run. And so that's what Johnny said that he has done in his last 2 races.
And he's professional. He's been very good. So, listen, and that we got a 111 buyer, if people wondering. It was a terrific performance by him. There's no doubt about it. And he showed why he was deserving champion last year. And right now, I was sort of arguing this set with Office Air with J.K. and Tom Amos. I think that he and Dornick are sort of on par, given their accomplishments this year as far as leader division. But I'd put Fierceness on top with the recency, and also because Dornick ran so badly. But then again, Fierceness ran badly in the Derby, but so did Dornick that day, trip or not. So
that the Derby is kind of a moot point.
It's pretty close, though. It's pretty close, to be fair.
And they haven't met that often because. What, Fierceness wasn't
This was his definitive meeting with him because the other one was the Derby. Yes, this is a definitive meeting with him. And Fierceness blew him off the racetrack.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree that he is the leader division. But to be fair, this was a pace that looked fast on paper that never developed. So he did get that he got the same trip basically he got in the Jim Dandy.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
He still ran a good figure, and I'm not trying to knock him.
I agree with you that I want somebody to go out there and press
What
him.
happens in the Breeders' Cup when Arthur's Ride's in there? And the Breeders' Cup Classic, they're not going a slow pace. They're going to be moving. So he still has to show. But listen, that's the thing about speed horses always have the advantage of being able to make their own trips, especially if he can rate the way he did. But if the pace gets hotter, I'm not sure how much he can rate. And I think that there are a lot of very foolish narratives on the internet these days. The Tacitus narrative. It wasn't Tacitus' fault the rail was gold on Belmont Day and he drew post 10. It wasn't his fault the rail was dead on Jim Dandy Day and he ended up on the rail. What I'm saying is people...
Wait, are we talking about batten down?
I'm relating Tacitus,
Oh.
Because Sierra Leone, I've started to hear morons saying he's like Tacitus. Sierra Leone doesn't have any speed. He is always going to be at the mercy of pace.
Correct.
Having said that, he ran a 107 or 108 buyer yesterday behind a slow pace. Also, nobody seemed to have noticed that he completely behaved. He didn't lug in. He didn't do anything bad. I think Sierra Leone ran incredibly well yesterday. It's just that the dynamics, because of his running style,
I still think he wants
the
to
other
run
horses.
on the rail because he did finish the race on the rail, and he was inside. But
no, he finished outside horses. He was out in the middle of the track in the stretch.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. Watch the race.
He was?
Yeah.
Again, I'm on the pony. Sorry.
Trust me. He was.
Okay. Yeah. No, he's not a great betting proposition because
he was way overbet yesterday. He was ridiculous
and
at 8 to 5.
I picked him again. I fell for him.
But
again.
you wouldn't have picked him if you knew he was 8 to 5.
I wouldn't have picked him if I knew they were going to go 24.
Well, that's the whole thing. The assumption was they'd go faster.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be knocked for his performance because he lost.
He
But
is a good
he has to
horse,
be criticized
but-
because he's always going to be at the mercy of the pace. But I'll
Right.
tell you something. People may want to be careful when the Breeders' Cup Classic rolls around with him because he has not shown that he is not good enough to win these races. He's just at the mercy of trips. And Fierceness is always going to have an advantage of him. Not always, but in a lot of races because he's tractable and he has speed.
Right, and I think
that gives him
the difference maker oftentimes between good horses and great horses is that great horses aren't trip compromised.
Well,
they make their own trips.
I'm going to compare them, and I'm not
They're still
comparing
very
them in
young,
talented
so,
because they are not as good as these horses. They are nowhere near as good as Easy Goer and Sunday Silence.
Absolutely.
But Sunday Silence's edge on Easy Goer was that he was tractable,
Right.
and Easy Goer wasn't. And that was his real edge on him, and that's why he won 3 of the 4 races against him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm just, and that's Fierce's clear edge over Sierra Leone. As far as the filly, she didn't lose that race.
Freaking incredible.
She didn't lose that race. I know Fierce's beat her, and I'm not knocking.
She
I'm
was
saying
getting to him with every stride,
she ran
too.
tremendous in there. And you know what?
My heart broke.
Right. For guys like me who, poo-poo, they can run faster, and usually they can't. She could. She was great yesterday. And
She was fantastic.
Kenny running her in there, and
I
her
thank
being in that
Kenny.
race made a great day even greater,
I
and she
thank him.
gains in defeat.
We all thank you, Kenny.
I hate to be nice to you,
you,
Kenny, but thanks. It pains me to be nice to Kenny,
And-
but no, seriously.
like just being out there on the track and poor Brian, because she was getting to him with every stride and he was on the outside and he's down riding. I got to him and he said, "Did I get up?" And I said, no.
Oh, that's painful.
And he just bent down and hugged her.
But you know what? The two best horses ran 1-2 also. I think that's also 1-2-3. And I think that's also important. You know, it's a huge race, and the race delivered.
Yeah.
The Alan Jerkins delivered. You know, the Alan Jerkins was a sensational race of good horses running fast, an exciting finish. And yesterday delivered a beautiful day, a huge crowd, a massive record bet. And thank you to everybody for all of that. But yesterday was so much of what's great about this game that we love.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an incredible day. It really was.
No, it really was. And I think, you know, without the participation of the horses also and the people, and, you know, obviously the first thought, and, you know, people saying too much of this. Todd was saying, I don't know if we're running back in the Travers. Trainers are supposed to say that. They got to wait and see what they're doing. But his two best races have come 27 and 28 days after a performance. So Fiercest can come back and run those big races. So just a great day.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think he is one of those horses that if he bounces out of the race fine, he looks fine, then he runs well on that short rest.
He's going to be retired at the end of his 3-year-old year, probably?
Yeah.
Too bad. He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't whine, but anyway, we got to go. I believe at 12:30 they are bringing out the canoe for Fierceness out into the lake, so you may want to enjoy that as well after you've signed up for NyraBets. You can't enjoy that unless you've signed up for NyraBets. Use the promo code SPA250, and we'll match the $250 of your initial deposit at NyraBets.com. Track stats, check them out as well. We have a $10 money-back guarantee first tier in Del Mar. You might want to try the first tier. I think the Forest Field, you got a good chance doing that. Sierra Leone got a 109 buyer speed figure defeat. Thank you for that.
So the filly got a
111. They both got 111s, yeah. No, that was just. And she'll run the distaff, and she'll crush. I'm sorry. They're not going to beat her. She runs a race like that. They can't beat her. Sorry.
Yep.
2 at Monmouth, 3 at Saratoga. And we are on from 1 to 3 in FS2, 3 to 4 in FS1, and 4 to 7 in FS2. That's it. We're done. Thank you, Maggie, as always.
Thank you.
Early happy birthday to Maggie.
Thanks.
And Frank Miramati. Big day for him yesterday, and another big day here today is New York Bred Showcase Day. We like to call it Naja Thompson Day around here. We'll start off in just a few minutes. Have a great day.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.